And this goes to anyone whose life ended here on this point. Whether you were beheaded, hanged, burned. Come forward, come and have a chat with me. Anne, or anybody. That's it, it burnt. I saw movement at the corner of my eye. I think it was just my imagination. I think I saw that tree.
I'm on a trip across Northern Europe in the search for Nordic spirits. In a place known for its stunning scenery, harsh landscapes and fierce warriors, what will I find when I visit some of the region's darkest places? I've already visited a brutal prison, now a chic hotel, as I make my way towards the biggest location on the history of this channel, for Halloween. However, I'm now in Norway and we're hunting for witches together. My search for Nordic spirits takes me to Bergen, Scandinavia's first commercial city, once the largest city in Northern Europe until the 16th century. It was founded in 1070, although a previous Viking Age settlement existed around here called Alvekstad, but this was nothing more than farmland. It would be the home of King Eric Bloodaxe, a former Norwegian king who would later rule Northumbria until his death in the English Pennines. Bergen became the capital of Norway and was an important settlement for trade. This part of Bergen is known as Nordnes, a peninsula that today is residential, but it has a dark past. This was where they carried out public executions. And like other places, Norway has had its own witch trials, one of those being that of Anne Pedersdotter, the most famous Norwegian witch. She was burned at the stake right here in 1590. She was originally accused of murdering her husband's uncle by sorcery so that her husband would become the bishop. However, she was given a pardon due to her high connections with the king. However, after her husband's death, the accusations against her always remained throughout her life, and she would regularly get into arguments with locals. She was accused of the deaths of 6 people. Bad weather, fires and a plague were also blamed on her, and she was accused of meeting other witches within the Fjords. When she was captured, she spent a month being locked in a prison cell in Rosenkrantz Tower before being led to Nordnes, where she was tied to the stake and burned alive. Her conviction still stands in the city archives, and despite petitions, she has always been denied a pardon in recent years. Between 1561 and 1760, over 800 people were put on trial for witchcraft in Norway, 277 of them being burned at the stake. These are just the documented cases. Some say that twice that figure could have even been executed here. The majority of witches were poor beggars, vagabonds, and marginalised people. Many other notorious executions took place here. In 1302, Audun Hugleksen was hanged here. He was the right-hand man for the previous monarch and was needed rid of. False Margaret also died here. The real Margaret was a maid in Norway and died in 1290 whilst in Scotland. False Margaret was a mysterious woman who appeared in Bergen one day claiming to be the maid, fooling much of the townfolk and claiming money. Her husband was forced to watch her burn before being beheaded himself on the spot seconds later. Mary Geith was burned to death here for causing a shipwreck by paying another witch to use magical powers in 1615. The woman was locked up in what is now the town hall. The other woman was found strangled in her cell on the morning of her supposed execution, despite being locked up in a cell all by herself. A famous legend states that she was taken by the devil. A fortress existed here in later centuries, where the Sea Life Centre now exists. In 1876, Jacob Wallen was beheaded. He had caused a riot in Oslo, but stabbed a prison guard to death after being locked up. The aquarium was built on the exact spot of executions in 1960, but that has not stopped the park being the scene of many stories. Figures are seen, shadows moving between the trees, and blood-curdling screams have been reported in the park. A wooden church existed in this area, which had a cemetery for unmarked graves of those who were executed here and the city's poor. The church mysteriously burnt down and has since been built over by housing, which means under some of these people's homes will be unmarked graves of people who have been executed here. Are there still spirits on the peninsula of death? When this park is empty, I go along and I set up a mini investigation.
Well, that's the view into the open water, not the sea. It kind of goes, well, out into sea. This isn't the furthest west of Norway. There's kind of like little islands and archipelagos before you get to the North Sea. But this is the view, obviously, at dark, that many people would have for their final time before they were executed. And this is it. This is the park where so many stories are said to originate from. People who come here at night, the usual types, hippie types, play the guitars. There was someone here earlier on this evening playing the guitar to the sunlight, sunset just going down over there. People who come here, boyfriends, girlfriends, nice little romantic, sit down on the picnic tables. A lot of people come around here and get lots of strange activity, strange stories that have appeared in local Norwegian press publications. It's worth coming down here and investigating, because this is a site of mass death. A lot of people have been executed here. This is, if you really want to put it, one of the darkest places in the whole of Norway. Now, I'm not the kind of person who would want this to happen to me, but if you had to die a really slow and painful death, you might as well have a nice view while you're going out, if that makes sense. This is what they would have seen. Obviously not the lights, but this body of water. The executions took place over here. We've got a giant totem pole in the middle. That's got absolutely nothing to do with Vikings or Norse mythology, by the way. That's because Bergen is twinned with Seattle in America, and this was a gift that the Americans sent over. Absolutely nothing. A lot of people look at it, I think that's Norse mythology. There's some sort of like gods. No, it's not. People see figures around here all the time, and we're going to try and see if we can communicate with any that are still here in this park tonight. They say burning is one of the worst forms of execution you can have, simply because it's slow. I'm going to turn the IR light down a bit. The first few seconds are said to be the worst. I'm not going to lie. Have you ever burnt yourself? Well, I'm assuming you have. Everybody has. You burn yourself on a stove, a pan, something that's hot, and your immediate reaction is you pull your finger away, you pull your hand away, because it's a reflex. And then you go immediately to a cold water tap and put your finger under, and ease the pain for 5 minutes until it gets back to normal. Imagine having 100% of your body in flames. Like, you can't move, you can't, obviously your reflex would be to quickly get out of it. You can't do that because you're tied. And you've just got to accept that 100% of your body is now going to be in absolute horrific pain. If that doesn't cause some kind of cardiac problem, the shock, all of your skin starts to melt, your muscles start to melt, and then they say that you feel no pain because there's no nerve endings, the nerves have gone. There's nothing to feel pain. You can imagine for those few seconds when that's happening. Are you still conscious? Can you still think? Just one of the questions I would love to know the answer to. I don't want to find out, but just out of morbid curiosity of wondering how these people spent their final few seconds. Obviously the smoke would have been coming up. Maybe they would have been having trouble breathing. Did they have a chance to take some of this in? I mean, to be honest, they're probably local anyway, so they're probably used to it. Anne, if you're around, I don't know what language you were speaking, what language you can understand, but hey, let's try something. Anne? Is Anne around? Come and have a chat. You can come over. You're probably wondering what on earth is going on here because, let's face it, in Norway, ghost hunting is not a big thing, a big activity, whereas in the UK, people do it every weekend. So you've probably never seen some of the equipment before. You might have seen the cameras of people taking pictures over there. And this goes to anyone whose life ended here on this point. Whether you were beheaded, hanged, burned. Come forward, come and have a chat with me. I would just like to point out as well, I haven't got this park secured. People could walk in potentially anytime. It is 28 minutes past 1 a.m. so I'm not expecting large amounts of people to come in, but you never know, people could come in, so that could account for any noise. It is still, look at that, you can still see light. The sun, the sky is only just starting to get darker now, and it's early hours of the morning. We're so far into Northern Europe that this happens. If you're here, can you make some kind of sound for me? Can you just let me know of your presence? People have seen you moving between the trees, watching them, standing on the little grass hill. I've just seen that on the screen. That's probably the most picturesque, most scenic place, maybe bar Iceland, where I've done some kind of ghost hunting. That's quite cool. That is quite cool. I'm going to take a picture of that. Might put this on Instagram or something. Right, let's get a spirit box out and let's see if we can communicate with anyone. First thing I just want to point out, I am hearing noises. I've got the spirit box ready, but I did hear some twigs breaking. I thought I saw something through there, but that's just a bin. Did something move? No. I mean, it could be a person, like a real person. But at this time of night, and it's a weeknight as well in Norway, so I wouldn't expect to see anyone unless there's someone. That is, by the way, a sea life centre, and they do have penguins in there. So, in theory, things like that can make noises as well. There's kind of a little jetty down there, but there's nobody down there. Literally, just to myself. So, nobody should be around. Let's get a little spirit box session going. Those bins are just so deceiving. You think it's a person, but it's just a bin. People put rubbish in. Okay. We'll put some volume on this. Hello, I'm looking to communicate with anybody who is around here in the spirit world. Anyone who's faced death at this site. Can you just come to me and just introduce yourself? Can you tell me your name? What is your name? Anne, are you around? People have seen you. Anybody who was hanged or beheaded on this site. I saw movement at the corner of my eye. I think it was just my imagination. I think I saw that tree. There's nobody around here. Oh. I thought that was a person. Oh, it's a statue. Whoa, I got such a fright there. This place messes with your head. Could that be what people are saying? People are seeing statues like that, and it's putting things in their mind. I also just want to point out, I've mentioned before, in Norway, FM radio has been discontinued. All analog radio is discontinued, so the FM, AM frequency bands are gone. Just like in the UK, how we've got rid of analog television several years ago, everything's now digital. They've done this in Norway, so they're kind of a little bit ahead of us. This is going to happen in the UK very soon, in the next sort of decade, definitely. We will get rid of FM radio and go completely onto DAB radio. But that's going to have a massive impact on things like spirit boxes, because they sweep FM, you do get radio bleed. But listen, literally nothing is coming through the spirit box. Spirits, use this frequency to be able to broadcast your sound to me. I'm not gonna lie, of all the executions that took place here, probably beheading was the quickest. Hanging as well, that can be quite quick, but not if you get it wrong. We had all three of those, beheadings, hangings and burnings, right on this site, especially where that building is in the background. That's a sea life centre. We can't go in there though. Hello? Anne? Anne, are you here? Anybody here? Anyone from the Fjords? Change the frequency sweep rate a little bit. Don't be afraid. I might look different to you. These things in my hands are probably things that weren't around hundreds of years ago. I'm from a different time era to you, but you can still come and talk to me. I'm friendly. I've just been setting up the ghost tubes here, and it's already coming out with blood splattered. That's just while I've been setting the app. I haven't even pressed record. And earlier on I got a few strange ones. I got this one, which I'm going to put on the screen for you now. And when you think about it, where we are in the fjords, that one's creepy. So let me just restart the app. Okay, for those who've never seen Ghost Tube Seer before, it's an app that uses AI to be able to create an image using a phone's sensors, such as the magnetometer. You know, all phones have got EMF meters built into them. So let's see what we're getting with this. So I'm not even recording. In fact, I'll press record. I'm getting 3 women. Let me just take a closer look. 3 women sat around with candles. 3 women. Candles, fire. Is this, because obviously this is AI generated, is this capturing something that flames, women? I don't even know how many women have been executed here. Those records are kind of like deep in, you know, you've got to go right through Norwegian history to find it. But I would imagine more than one witch has been burned at the stake on this site. Why has that come up there? Let's keep going. Let's keep the app going. Let's see what else it can. Like I say, we've got that strange woman. It looks like she was on top of a mountain on some kind of hill. But it was, obviously, you could interpret that as the fjords. Honestly, I've never done a ghost hunt with scenery like Norway. Beautiful. Spirits, can you come forward and give me a description of yourself? Maybe what you look like. Maybe what this place used to look like. Oh, something's coming through. So I'm seeing like a street vendor selling things from a stall. but with a modern day city in the background. Were you some kind of merchant, vendor? We know that boats used to come into this harbour from all the neighbouring little villages and towns dotted around the Norwegian coastline, and they would bring their fish into here and have a market in Bergen. That's just me jumping to conclusions. There's also been a battle here as well. The English and the Dutch brought their ships into this very stretch of water. It did happen. Is this something about a ship? Did anyone drown in this body of water? It's obviously something I haven't even thought about until now. Oh, hang on, this has generated something else. I don't even know what that is. Spirits, I know it's difficult. I'm not expecting you to do miracles, but let's see what we can do together. Anne, can you come and just show me what you look like? I'm just going to have a little look around here. Whoa. Did you hear that? A thud from this bush. Seer is still on. Hello? I mean, it could be animals. There will be animals out here. Wildlife. We're in the middle of a park. Sound like a thud. You can get up the back of it. Surely if there's an animal in here, it'll run away. Give it that kick. Nothing's run out. Hello? I hope you heard it. I mean, it wasn't a big thud, but I was going over here, wasn't I? See her still running. Nothing's coming through yet. You can kind of walk right down. I think that's kind of like for the little boats to come in. And it's pumping some kind of, it's like a little whirlwind pool there. I keep seeing things in those trees. It's doing my head in. It's also like really messing with my head to the point where I think there's people in them trees. Let's go down. Obviously this park has been created. The landscape looks a lot different now to what it would have done 500 years ago. What's all this? So we can go right down into here. I think there's sort of like some hot water's been. Oh, we've got a figure coming through. It's a man. He's wearing a tuxedo kind of suit. Who are you? Did you die around here? You look too modern to have been executed around here. Can you give me another description of yourself? In fact, let's put Sia away. Let's try capturing an EVP. I've got a digital voice recorder here. Hello? You speak English? Maybe you can come and have a little chat with me? Just introduce myself. If there's any messages you want to give to the living, let's do it. I can do that for you. Let's review it. Instant review. I'll hold it next to the mic.
Hello? You speak English? Maybe you can come and have a little chat with me? Just introduce myself. If there's any messages you want to give to the living, let's do it. I can do that for you.
Yep. Came through. Let's keep exploring the park. Now the sea life centre is making like a noise. It's like obviously keeping the water at a certain temperature for the creatures. So I wonder if that's creating some kind of infrasound. You know, when they say infrasound can cause people to think they see things out the corner of the eye. I've been having it. There's so much. I'm trying to think what the process would be to keep water at a certain temperature. Oh. Hello, is anyone with me? Yes. Hello? It was on cue, but it could also be very naturally explained. Hello? Could be a little animal somewhere. This is one of the reasons why, if you look on the Dead Air YouTube page, there's hardly any videos where I go into woods and forests. Maybe we did one in Cresswell, Northumberland, but there's so many kind of like little noises and animals running around and things like naturally explained that you. And I think psychologically, when you go into woods, they're dark anyway. So I do prefer getting into buildings, like old castles, stone buildings, fortresses. things like that, which to me let's try maybe using a voice bank, seeing if anything can come through. Okay, still more noises. There's got to be something running around. It's a little animal. It's a little animal. I don't know much about Norwegian animals, what you get out here. I don't think there's any giant predators coming, but okay. I've got a box of sounds that you can put together to make words if it's too difficult for you to show yourself or to manifest in any way. Let's do it that. I keep seeing things at the corner of my eye, like movement in the shadows of those trees. It's I don't think it is, but I'm wondering if there's some kind of effect coming from that sea life centre, where as you pan, you think you see something. It's like a vibration that affects your eyes. Spirits, let's go. If you can talk to me. Anne, are you here? Can you just said Anne. I just said Anne. Did you hear that? Anne, is that you? Can you do that again? Anne, were you executed here? Was anyone else who was executed here present? What? Who is me? Can you tell me your name? Same voice again. Same voice again. Are you Norwegian? Are you from Norway? Denmark? Norway and Denmark used to be the same country. I wasn't being thick there. Did anyone die out here? Were you innocent? And did you kill your brother-in-law? Yeah, something's running around. It's an animal. Anne, or anybody. That's it, it burnt. It burnt. Please tell me that you heard it say it burned. Anne, or anybody. That's it, it burnt. And it's very late at night, and I'm going to go to bed soon. It's like nearly 2 in the morning, and I don't know if you can see this on the night vision, but it's actually ready to start getting light again. Is false Margaret here? No. Was anybody who was... It's Sounds like footsteps, but I'm constantly thinking I'm being followed. Can you state your name quite clearly for me? Anne. I mean, this is an interpretation. They could be saying literally anything. Again, I'm seeing things move on that little bridge. Anne, what was it like to die? I'm guessing it was painful. I can't believe it. I saw the sunset a couple of hours ago, and now I'm watching it starting to get light again. This is just crazy. Well, I'm guessing I must be one of the first people, well, to investigate this park paranormally. It's down here. I haven't actually looked down here. Ooh, pardon you. Well, this is your last chance. I'm going. I'm going. I'm going to switch this off. In 3, 2, 1. There we go. Well, I've enjoyed my trip to Norway. It's been really nice. I never thought if I ever came to Norway I would just go looking for Viking ghosts, because everyone assumes this is just famous for having the Vikings, but I found in my time over here that there's a lot of other history out here that's really cool. We've got fortresses that have had wars, battles on this very bit of water. Ships filled this, the English, the Dutch, and fired and surrounded a fortress that was in there. The stuff like this I never knew about, and I kind of wish I did know about before I even came out here, because Norway's got some amazing, cool history. And can you believe it? It's only like an hour and a half from Newcastle to get over to Bergen. An hour and a half. That's like less than the time it would take you to get to Spain. If you went to like Benidorm or somewhere, that's like a 2.5, 3 hour flight. An hour and a half, and look what you're getting. Come on guys, come over here. It's really cool. Right. Alright guys, if you liked this video, please give it a like, give the channel a subscribe if you haven't already done so. Lots of videos on there. Scroll down there. Some amazing locations. Until next time, good night.